Hello.
I do.
We're back again. Even if you don't want to hear us, we're back. So
Yeah.
tough titty. Yeah,
You
I'm
see
Callum.
that last month did really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So once again, if you are back and returning, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the Nightmare Gaming channel. We don't normally actually beg for likes and subscribes, but I am today because I would like to see this really take off again.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
So hit that like button, share it, subscribe to the Nightmare Gaming channel so you can keep getting this each month. And obviously Anthony's posting like 40 videos a day because he's just like got no life.
Not quite. There's one or two, depending on the day. Also, and even you don't know this because I forgot to tell you, you'll notice this video is a day earlier than normal.
Okay.
Because on the 24th, which is a Saturday, which is the day we normally post, is actually 3 years of the channel existing on YouTube from the first upload.
Oh, there you go then, you see. So it's got to be the anniversary.
It's a special. Day. It's a speckle.
So, yeah,
so look forward to that
We're
tomorrow.
here and we're early and we want you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And obviously you can pop, if you've not listened to us before, it's the first time, we've got a huge catalogue now with previous episodes, and if you've got several hours of your life you want to waste and never get back, then please listen to them because they will waste your life.
You could put it on while you're doing the household work.
Well, this is it, yeah.
It's in that we're in that age of everything's linked together.
That's it.
So you can clean your kitchen, listening to us, and
off your smart fridge.
Yeah.
You know.
Then you go into the living room with your smart telly, do the vacuuming, have another listen.
That's it. So so as per usual, due to our normal format, we've got a couple of video games, a couple of films, and a few news stories. We used to do like the one film and the one game, but unfortunately pickings are quite slim at the moment, and so we're going to talk about a bit more than usual. We're going to start off with a great film that's coming out. I am absolutely
really
waiting for this.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And it's Spider-Man Homecoming. We can't wait for this.
No, it's going to be...
Ever since we've seen Spider-Man and Captain America, it's like, I really want to see that Spider-Man because he's playing Spider-Man as comic book Spider-Man.
It is...
And it's the proper kiddie version. He's talking all the time. What I like is from the clips that we've seen already in the trailers, we're actually revisiting Civil War. And you're seeing it from Spider-Man's perspective, which is amazing. So I like that.
It seems to be before Civil War and then after.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's taking place... I think it's mainly taking place like after, but like you're going to see snippets from before, where he's going on about like he tells his mate in the advert that he stole Captain America's shield and then he punched him. If you can hear the planes, I do live quite close to an airport, so that's why you're hearing
That's the 1501 to Belfast.
Spider-Man Homecoming. I've been waiting for a retelling of Spider-Man, but at least they're not doing the origins of Spider-Man again. So
they seem to like they are, but they've like missed out the very beginning
where he actually became Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is for me was we've seen it. We've seen Tobey Maguire do it, and then we've seen I can't remember his bloody name, and that's really going to piss me off.
He's now going to go look that up.
Thank the Lord for IMDb.
Oh dear.
If you can hear typing, I have an old keyboard.
He does.
I don't use this one, I use my wireless, but there you go. Andrew Garfield. How did we forget that? Anyway, so obviously we've seen it in Andrew Garfield's telling of the Amazing Spider-Man, and then we've seen it in the original Spider-Man trilogy by Sony. To be fair, for me, the original 3 films were better than the Amazing Spider-Man films.
I agree.
That's not to take it away from the Amazing Spider-Man, but for me, I'm really happy that they're missing out that, oh my god, he got bitten by a spider.
Uncle Ben's dead.
It's like, we know all this, anyone who has never read a Spider-Man comic or even seen a Spider-Man film or even the old bloody animated series knows that Ben Parker died.
I feel sorry for Uncle Ben.
Yeah, he dies all the time,
does.
man. It's like, how many times do we need to see him die? Just the once would have been
I feel
fine.
sorry for anyone called Ben with a brother or sister who has a kid.
That's it.
That's it. You're dead, mate. If your name's Ben, you got a brother or a sister, and they have a kid.
I mean, I like Tom Holland as the Spider-Man in this. When he was in Civil War,
I do.
As I said, he's actually playing Spider-Man as Spider-Man for a change. I mean, obviously the original Spider-Man trilogy, where I sort of look at him as the ultimate Spider-Man series. Then you've got the Amazing Spider-Man, and this Spider-Man for me rings more true of the original.
This is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I'm really looking forward to watching it, just because I really enjoyed his character and his portrayal in the Civil War series. It's going to have, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. You see him in the trailer, and you are going to see Chris Evans again.
because he's not doing any more Iron Man films, is he? But he's going to play Iron Man in other...
Yeah, that's it. So I'm really happy that he's in there. Obviously, if you've seen the trailers, you'll know that he's going to be fighting a guy who's basically been nicking the Avengers' old pieces of technology and using them to create super soldiers. And Spider-Man is told by Iron Man, do not get involved. And what do you do when someone tells you don't get involved? You fucking get involved. Yeah. I said you get involved. So, of course, I think, in essence, I believe Tony told him not to get involved on purpose.
Oh, yeah, I think he wanted Spider-Man to
realise
who he was.
He didn't need the suit. That's why he took it off him. He takes it off him in this film. It's because he doesn't need it. Like Spider-Man says, I'm nothing without the suit. But if you're nothing without the suit, you don't deserve to wear it.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but Iron Man's nothing without his suit.
Iron Man is a billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Yeah, but if you take the suit, he's just got his money.
And his brains. The man is incredibly smart, come on.
Yeah, but you take that away, he's just a man. With Bruce Wayne, if you did that...
Well, yes, he is a martial artist.
He can still do his martial arts.
Now, what I like, if you do go to the IMDb page, they've got plenty of videos and there's the gallery, but what they've actually listed on here, which I love... let me just mute that. They've actually listed all of his suit upgrades. So you can see what Tony Stark has done. Okay, so he's upgraded the web shooter in this. Obviously, it was designed by Stark. It now has the web wings, so he can...
I love the web wings.
So he can glide. He then has the GPS tracker, not that he knows that he has that in him yet. And, of course, he's made the eyes expressive, which everyone was like, well, how does his eyes move? It's the suit. Well, Tony Stark is...
He is pretty good.
Pretty good at making suits.
That mask seems based on the Spider-Man Noir.
Yes.
Which was it was set in like the time of gangsters and that sort of mob rule. And he wore goggles.
Yeah.
He wore a straight black or grey or sepia, because the whole comic, from what I remember, was done in sepia.
Yeah.
So it was like a dark grey or a black goggles, and those goggles, I think in some iterations he turned a crank.
Yeah, and it sort of focused them and whatever
and it would allow him that narrower vision, but he could then, because obviously Spider-Man has perfect sight, it would then enhance that even further.
Yeah, to allow him to sort of focus more on what he's looking at.
That was sort of the Spider-Man. So it seems loosely based on that.
Well, to me, the actual Spider-Man suit that he has before and after Tony Stark's suit, so the one he was first wearing as you've seen him, reminds me very much of Spider-Man's Noir's suit anyway. He's got the big goggles. It's sort of a very thrown together sort of loose jackety look.
It also reminds me of... You breaking the microphone.
Yeah.
It also reminds me from the Spider-Man cartoon series, where there was the Spider-Man that was actually a clone who'd shaved his head and dyed it blonde. He wore like a tracksuit, and it reminds me very much of that.
But overall, 7th of July for the USA. I think it's
the same over here as well.
It's the same. Oh no, 5th of July over here. We're getting it 2 days earlier than the US.
Get
in.
Yes.
But yeah, for me, it is definitely a film that I'm very much thinking about cinema for watching, because I really, really want to watch this one.
See, I'll be dragged there again, because Tropico likes to go to the cinema once a month. In fact, this month we went and saw Wonder Woman.
Yeah, apparently that's getting like the best reviews out of any of the DC films ever. Yeah.
It's amazing.
People are actually, funny enough, they're not Wonder Woman they love, but they actually love this girl here.
Yes,
General.
That's her aunt.
Yeah, people actually prefer her. Now, if you don't know who that actress is, I'll tell you now. Do you remember Princess Buttercup in the Princess Bride film?
No, never watched that.
Right, well, if you watched, anyone who's old enough to have watched The Princess Bride, or has watched it because the parents made them watch it, you'll notice that Princess Buttercup is this general lady from...
She?
Yes, indeed.
Well, there you
go.
So
she's gone from helpless, defenceless princess from the 80s to kick-ass fucking get out of my way bitch in 2017. So
she is pretty damn amazing in the film.
So people are actually looking forward to the fact she's in the Justice League film. Did you know?
No.
Yeah, she is, and I'll tell you how I know, because I'll tell you how I know as well, due to the fact that they posted it the other day that she is to make it, because people loved her. They've said that she is to make an appearance in the Justice League.
Now, to those of you who've seen it, you'll agree with me. I'll be interested to see how they pull that one off.
Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see how they pull that off.
But that's it. But I don't know how they're going to do it. But they said that there will be some, whether or not it's just a flashback.
Yeah, it could,
or something, I don't know, but they have said that she is to make some sort of an appearance.
For those of you who care, that was the 1510 to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that now, just give random bullshit.
But
we don't know, by the way, we've not got the airport timetable in front of us.
Yeah, anyway, Spider-Man Homecoming, it looks like a great film, really want to watch it. Sticking on the Marvel theme for a minute before we move on to the next film, I read something the other day which sort of confused me. They said... this is about Deadpool, okay?
Right.
The post was, I think it was like 5 or 7 secret ways you didn't know that Deadpool was connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm thinking, secret? So we're ignoring the fact that the end fight scene took place on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s down ship.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me? Are you thick? I don't understand how
it's... nothing secret.
There was nothing secret
it's
about...
It's one of them clickbaits,
Not only that... Fucking Deadpool goes round to Xavier's house and starts mentioning the 2 people that have played Xavier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy.
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't a secret. Anyone who thinks it is a secret, are you dumb?
Yeah.
I don't understand how they said it was a secret.
What I loved about that was when he said that because there was only Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Colossus in it. It's like, is this all we could afford?
Yeah.
Like, well, kind of
yes.
You.
Yeah, kind of yes. What I am hoping, okay, is that Deadpool and Spider-Man in the comics were kind of friends.
I would love to
so
see
I
them.
really want to see that happen because it would be really funny with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Yeah.
And you know Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Yeah. They will gel so well together. I really hope it works. I really hope they do it. To be fair, I mean, I'm still hoping that they do a Deadpool X-Men.
Yeah,
type.
that'd be nice.
Even if they did like an old X-Force type film or something like that. I would really love to see it. Just because, I mean, for me, it was ever since I seen that meme where people said in Deadpool, what I want to see is a film with Deadpool and the X-Men, but it being a PG or something that there can only be one F-bomb dropped. And it gets all the way through to the film because Deadpool's waiting for the best one and Wolverine takes it. That's what I want to see. That to me would be the greatest X-Men film of all time. Just because you would know it's coming and you're like, come on, please.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Wolverine.
Or and it's just beat.
Bye!
It's just
Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. Anyway, so Spider-Man Homecoming, 5th of July in the UK, 7th of July USA. Go and watch it for me because it's going to be absolutely epic. Okay, next film. War of the Planet of the Apes. I told you pickings were slim, Pete.
Now, I'm just going to say one thing. They're milking this franchise.
Although, I watched the trailer. I kind of want to watch this one.
Right.
The other ones, they kind of were like, oh, not again. But this one, they are actually going to war. They are going to...
What was it? There was... Rise of the Planet, which was where the monkey was first developed by the scientists.
Yeah, and then there was the other Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
I can't remember that one.
No, it was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, then Rise of the Planet of the Apes, because Dawn was when they first escaped. Rise was then when they actually built themselves up, and then this one is basically like the end of the... for me, I hope it's the end. It's the end of it, where they're going to basically do the war, and then we'll see that... Well, if you've watched the Planet of the Apes, the original, technically the apes wiped the humans out apart from slaves. What I've liked,
few resistance.
What I've seen in this though, is that from the trailer, I'm siding with the apes.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like in the original Planet of the Apes,
you side with the humans.
You side with the humans. You're like, oh, the monkeys became intelligent and dominated. But it's like, why did they do that? Well, you basically discover humans are dicks.
We made them, and then because they basically were too smart and they were going to kill us, we decided, well, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But in this one, what I think's hilarious is that everyone's like, oh, the apes always hate the humans. Is it? Because Caesar basically adopts a kid.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing in the original one. Caesar had nothing against that original...
Caesar wasn't in the original because Caesar was dead. This is like the original... He's the one that they look up to.
Not in the original. In the...
Tim Burton re-release.
In the first one where Caesar's in it, where he's created in the lab.
Oh, right. Oh,
He
the
was-
first one of this trilogy.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
That's
I should have
right.
made that clear.
When you said the first Planet of the Apes, that's like the original one's like back in the 60s,
Caesar
70s.
was like the granddaddy ape. But no, see, when the first Caesar appearance, he did look after the scientist. He was
well,
not
in this,
letting them touch that
they
scientist.
from in the trailer they find a child by herself in a house, and he basically adopts her. And the apes are saying, "Why would you look after a human?" And he's like, "Because she's got no one."
Yeah.
But what I like about this as well is it's not all apes are against the humans, because in the trailer you quite clearly see apes, gorillas, helping the humans load weapons to fight the apes. So it's kind of like it looks like a really good film.
But that was the thing in the original. There were still apes that sided with the humans. Yeah. There were those.
This for me rings very much like if you end where Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes ended, where he's got back to Earth and the whole of Earth has already been dominated by apes.
Yeah.
That for me takes place shortly after this.
See, I think the way it's supposed to work is you've got this trilogy, then you do
Tim Burton.
the Tim Burton, but then that bit where they've like at the end where he goes back to Earth,
yeah,
is sort of it slots in somewhere between. So it could either go between this and the previous one.
Well, it's like if you go
or this one and Planet of the Apes.
If you take basically the whole film,
yeah,
okay, of Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, and you stick that before this trilogy, apart from the last 5 minutes where he gets back to Earth and all the apes are in cars and all the rest of it, then you take that last 5 minutes and put that at the end of this trilogy.
Yeah,
and that's basically where it seems to fit in. It's
and
like,
obviously the beginning of the film where he takes off into space is like that's smack bang before everything. Because in the first one with Caesar, you actually hear, and this is a little Easter egg for those of you who didn't, they're in the kitchen. Because obviously there's him, his dad, is it, that he lives with?
I think so, yeah.
And some woman. There's the 1515 going to France. Living in the kitchen, they've got either the radio or the telly on, and it says they've just lost contact with, because he was the guy who went to the Planet of the Apes was meant to be going to Mars, and they say they've just lost contact.
Yeah,
with
they
him.
lost contact because the only reason he went up in the first place was because they lost contact with the monkey at the centre.
Yeah,
and then he went up to basically find out what the hell happened. Ended up in a wormhole, which obviously for me altered time.
See, for me, it didn't do that. For me, it took him. It didn't alter time. It just took him a few years into the future and spat him back out the other end. So he went through a time hole more than a wormhole.
Yeah, but I mean, like, obviously, it's really difficult to sort of place the timelines in these films are all over. It's like watching Terminator, for fuck's sake. But yeah, I mean, for me, this one out of the others seems very interesting. I don't know if it's just because it's going to be a lot of battles. I don't know, but from what I've watched of the 2-minute trailer, it looks really good, and I kind of want to watch this one just because. I mean, even the tagline is "Witness the End."
Yeah.
So it's like this should be the last one. I mean, you've got Woody Harrelson in this one. He's like the general. He's the one who's leading the human forces and whatnot.
See, I wonder, right? If you tried to say, because obviously at the end of Planet of the Apes, he escapes and goes back to another Earth, quote unquote. I begin to wonder, right? Did he get back to another Earth,
or like a parallel?
Basically, so you got the first 2 minutes of this film, which take place during the first of this trilogy. Then you do the other films, right? Then what if you argue that all 3 times that this astronaut was on Earth, it was the same Earth? So he leaves before just as this scientist is working on making monkeys smart.
Just before they basically escape.
He fucks off to space and goes through this time hole. They've lost contact now. While he's doing this 30 seconds through the time hole, this trilogy happens, right?
And then further on, I would imagine.
I
would say this trilogy happens and then another 100 odd years pass.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because obviously in the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, he finds the ship, he finds the base.
That is true. It is a bit wrecked. Yeah.
And it is. It's not a bit wrecked, mate.
Well,
it is fucking destroyed.
So this trilogy and a little bit's happened. Yeah.
I would say this trilogy, and I would say at least 100 years.
Yeah. Well, however long.
Probably even more because.
That's the 1517 going to Italy.
The only reason I say probably a bit more than maybe 100 years is because there is, where he lands, there is no sign any human civilization ever existing. other than that wreck that he obviously goes to.
But anyway, so he does all that, right? Obviously, then those monkeys will eventually find that other ship. So then, what if he goes back through that same time hole, but rather than go back, it just still takes him forward in time? So another couple of thousand years passes in that few seconds he's going through. And that's what those apes have... Because then at the very end, you see them... Just hear me out. You see them riding about on motorbikes and they're actual people.
And obviously Abraham Lincoln is a monkey.
Yeah. What if they've rebuilt all that from the information they found on that ship? So he's just constantly going forward in time. And this is another couple of thousand years after he left.
It is very possible. I'm not going to deny it. It is very possible. And the only reason I believe it is very possible is because when you get there is no humans about. He is like the only one.
Yeah, he's
that you see anyway.
Yeah, when he first landed, there were a few left. A couple of, I think I watched an interview with Tim Burton. He said that on the whole planet, there's about a couple of thousand humans left. But when he lands, there's none. So that could be another couple of thousand years.
It could be very true. Very true.
So he basically sees 4,000 years go by in about a minute of travelling through space.
It's a very interesting theory.
I'd be interested to hear one of the the writers or the director or someone.
Well, obviously, I mean, these films, the Planet of the Apes, Dawn, Rise and War, are all based off Pierre Biel's novel, aren't they?
Yeah.
Off his novels. And obviously, Mark Bombach, I'm guessing is his name there, helped rewrite it for screen.
Yeah, but I would be interested to know what they think.
Well, if Andy Serkis is in it, you know it's going to be a good film.
Yeah.
So
Woody Harrelson, fuck me.
And Woody Harrelson and Andy Serkis. Yeah.
I like Woody Harrelson.
I did say Woody Harrelson's in it.
Yeah, I know you did. I just didn't pay attention.
Well, there's a surprise. So that's out July 11th, July 14th for America. So once again, we're getting it early.
Don't know why. They're doing that a lot lately. It's like, did the British finally get so sick of having movies late? We turn around to Hollywood and like, give us your movies early.
I wonder if it's because they get better viewing ratings over here. Because I'm not being funny.
I mean, per capita, I assume you're talking.
Yeah.
Because obviously, 1-to-1, America will always get better views because there's a lot more people.
But what I'm saying is that per capita, I reckon that they get a better box office viewing from here. And I think it's because the Americans are so like, well, we've seen everything. And we're like, well, yeah, we've seen it before, but let's give this one a go.
Yeah,
we're more like, well, we'll give this one a go. And the Americans are probably like, well, I'm not fucking watching another Planet of the Apes film.
I mean, to be fair, when you actually look at worldwide box office revenue, ours is normally like 3rd or 4th highest behind countries like America, China, Japan, Germany. You know, we're in the top 10, and the countries that do better than us are generally a lot bigger. So are we going to see these Are we going to see these movies twice or 3 times? Maybe, or just a lot more people going. So we actually
the thing is, we get quite good cinema deals over here. You know, with your buy one get one frees, and obviously we've got loads of cinemas now, like Cineworlds and stuff, that are offering £5 tickets.
Yeah, you got the cinemas that offer cheap tickets because the seats aren't as comfy or whatever you think.
Well, in actual fact, Cineworld in Loughborough, the tickets are like £5 or £6 a ticket. And I ain't being funny, it's more comfortable than the other cinema. A hell of a lot more comfortable.
And then obviously you've got your showcase where you can get your insurance through, compare the market, or then you've got your insider card where you get cheap deals.
Yeah, that's it. So I think that might be it, you know. It's just the fact we're getting better deals on cinema. I don't know.
In America, it does seem that the cinema is very much an evening thing over there.
Yeah, whereas for us, we'll go at like 9 o'clock in the morning because it's cheap.
Yeah,
we don't really care.
That's the thing. Our cinemas open. I don't know exactly, but
a lot of our cinemas open at about 10 o'clock in the morning.
They do.
To be fair, and it's just the fact that it means that you can take your kids for like an 11 o'clock showing. Yeah. You can go for like a 2 o'clock while your kids are at school or at nannies or whatever else. But War of the Planet of the Apes looks to me, and watch the trailers, make your own mind up, but for me, out of the other 2, this one looks like the best one. And for me, they seem to do that with films. The first one is always considered the best, or should be the best.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, the second one is a little bit like
Two Towers.
And then the third one is just like, oh my god, this is
Return
a kick-ass.
of the King.
There you go. So
whenever though I'm on about the Two Towers, I can't be the only one. I always want to call it Twin Towers.
Yeah, the twins, but they're not, obviously. But
I always want to, though. The Twin Towers. It's like, no, that's that shit.
Well, for me, the only part of the Two Towers, which is a good film, is the last little bit where they're actually fighting at Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny. I have been known to fast forward the old film there just to get there, just to watch it. You know what I mean?
Am I right in thinking that that was also the film that was furthest removed from the book?
Yes. Yes, you are, because well, actually, they're all quite far removed.
Well, yeah,
I mean, if you read the books, if you read any of the Lord of the Rings books, and then you watch the films, you'd be like, well, they missed all that out, they missed that out, they missed that out. And for me, if you're going to watch the films, don't watch the standard release. Watch the extended release, because otherwise you will never understand anything.
I completely get that, but it still was the most. Even with everything, it was the most far removed.
I mean, there was things that happened in the film. I mean, to be fair, it happens in all films.
Oh, I agree.
Harry Potter, they removed it so far from the books. I mean, funny thing about Harry Potter, before we move on to games, I actually watched an interview with Rick Mayall, right? And he said Harry Potter was the best film he ever starred in. Do you remember Rick Mayall in Harry Potter? No, do you know why? He got paid to do Peeves, and then they cut him out of the films.
Really?
And he still got to keep all the money because he filmed all the scenes.
You filmed all the bits. You didn't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. They filmed it, and then they rang him and said, unfortunately, Peeves has been cut because it's just too much to be putting in the films. And so he said that it's the best film he's ever done because he got paid an absolute fortune and he wasn't in it.
Yeah, that's fucking. I mean, all right for them.
That's the 1541 through to Glasgow.
We're awesome. We're going to keep doing this now. Not always, probably just for this one.
Maybe. You never know. But yeah, so...
I'd love to. I'll tell you what, fucking directors, casting agents, writers, I'm up for any movie, right? If you leave me on the cutting room floor, bollocks to your words, I'll try and get it full.
So they're the two films we've chosen, Spider-Man Homecoming, War of the Planet of the Apes.
That sounds like something some scumbag actor in America would try and do. Star in a buttload of films, do really well at the casting, right? But then when they film all these bits, make them so bad, he knows they've got no choice but to leave him on the cutting room floor and just be there like, well, I still got paid. Most famous actor ever, never been in a film.
Okay, completely off topic. There is a footballer that did that.
Either.
So this footballer, there was always this guy that was renowned as the worst striker, but this guy, he really is the worst striker. He never played a minute of football, but was signed to some of the biggest clubs. He was best friends with a lot of the big players that were always performing.
Yeah.
And whenever they got offered a transfer deal, he would make his mate tell them, oh, just sign me as well as like a bonus. So he would sign on with these big clubs. So they'd
sign, say, arguably, just for argument's sake,
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo for a couple
30 million.
Yeah.
And then they would then get this guy added in as a bonus.
For like a couple of mil extra or whatever.
No, not even that. Just get him added in as a bonus.
Oh, right, so just for the straight 30 mil.
He would then get top flight wages.
Yeah.
Right, and then within 3 months he would claim he had an injury. So he would never play a game of football because within 3 months he would never get played because he's not good enough to be played.
Yeah, so they'll stick him in the training.
But after that they may chuck him in. So what he does is he then fakes an injury. Right, and he did this for 20 odd years. And made an absolute bomb out of it, and he never played a minute of football.
Because they can't get rid of him while he's injured, can
they? Exactly.
Not until the end of the season, at which point he just goes to the next club.
He didn't work at every club that he went to, but pretty much most of the clubs he did go to, he ended up with top flight wages, all the injury benefits that you would get, and everything. Never played a minute of football.
Okay.
Greatest striker on the planet, mate. Never played a minute of football. Awesome.
Okay, now.
A few other films that are coming out, if there is any. I mean, I chose those two because they were pretty much the only two.
1535 to go Germany.
Dunkirk. That's supposed to be a good war film.
I saw that the trailer for that at the when I went to watch Wonder Woman.
It's a Tom Hardy,
and there's this British bloke in it, like just a normal bloke. He seems too old to fight, right? And he's with these two kids who are probably just too young to be drafted. And he rallies all the fucking regular... Because they're sending over ships over to Dunkirk to get them out. And they're just getting bombed out of the water.
Yeah.
And then he's like, to all his sailing buddies and fishing buddies, come on, get them life jackets, get a cup of tea, get some jam sandwiches, let's get fucking going. And they sail over to Dunkirk in their little fishing boats, grab these military blokes... And these military blokes are like, what the fuck's going on? We're being British, mate. Don't fuck with the British, we'll all come after you, mate. We may not have guns, but we've got fucking cricket bats. And I tell you what, that is the British.
Yeah, bulldog British.
If you fucking come at us, guess what? We've got the army in front having guns and bombs and whatever. But if you manage to take them down, there's a problem. There's a few million of us stood behind them with cricket bats, baseball bats, kitchen knives, pregnant women with rolling pins.
Yeah.
That's what you want to worry about, mate. Not what if I get through the what if I can't get through the army. It's what if you can get through the public. Because we don't give a fuck. Because they're not going to arrest all of us, are we? Because one of them will go, oh, we'll have him for crimes against war, and the rest of us will go, what about the rest of us, mate? We did worse than him. You can't nick us all.
And then there's possibly what is going to be the worst film ever released in any cinematic viewing station on the planet, and that's the Emoji Movie.
Oh, good lord.
Ugh. I mean, I'm getting sick to death of shit films coming out. But that is pretty... Unless you like your women's films, that's pretty much it's all coming out next.
Hold on, what's that one with that girl in a wig a bit further down?
That one?
Yeah.
That's Atomic Blonde. That's about an undercover MI6 agent that goes to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents. It's Charlize Theron and James McAvoy and Bill Skarsgård, so that might not...
It might be good, but I've not heard a lot about it.
I haven't heard a lot about it, but it's got a 68 Metascore, which is normally pretty high, to be fair.
Now, you see that one 2 up, that girl's trip? Is it me, or could you swap that person in front for fucking Terry Crews and you wouldn't know a blind bit of fucking difference?
Well, this is it, yeah.
I'm sorry, but look at the girl's trip poster, right? There's a... I'm guessing it's a bloke in front.
Oh, yeah, it's a bloke. There's 4 girls there that are obviously looking at some guy's arse there, and I'm guessing it's Mike Coulter because
I guess,
that's the
but
name
you
that's
could
there.
swap that for fucking Terry Crews and you wouldn't know a blind bit of difference.
But yeah, so July's not...
Actually, I saw a trailer for that Valerian. That looks alright.
So Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. That's a dark force threatens Alpha, which is a vast metropolis and home to a species from 1,000 planets. Special operatives Valerian and Laureline must race to identify the marauding menace and safeguard not just Alpha but the future of the universe. So if you like your sci-fi films, that's possibly going to be a good film to watch. Clive Owen's in that, so he's normally
does look pretty good actually.
And Cara Delevingne, so she's normally pretty good as well. But all in all, yeah,
a lot of dramas
coming out, a lot of women's type films. But yeah, for me, the only 2 films that are worth watching: Spider-Man and War of the Planets, Planet of the Apes.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's film, so we're going to move into gaming now. We're going to start off with Final Fantasy XII's remaster. As you all know, basically video games companies at the moment, especially Square Enix, are loving the remastering of old video games to make more money. All I can
say is the only thing that they should be working on right now is Kingdom Hearts 3, because if you don't get it out by the end of the year, I'm going to come knocking at your door and go, "Oi! Where's my game?"
So, Final Fantasy XII was originally released in 2006 for the PlayStation 2. They've now done a complete remastered version for the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, if you like the Final Fantasy games and you did like Final Fantasy XII, I'm pretty sure you'll probably like the remaster. But for me, I'm sick to death of the remasters. Yeah. It's like, I understand why they want to do it, but then I don't see the justification in remastering a game and then re-releasing it at 40 quid.
The thing is, I don't get it either, because they stuck a load of PS1 and PS2 games on the digital store, didn't they?
Yes, they did, yes.
Why can't they just do that? That to me is so much better. Just stick the originals on your store.
In some remastered versions, they actually change bits as well. They changed what actually happened. I think we've seen that in Resident Evil Remaster of the Remaster.
What, you mean when Ron got remastered?
Yeah,
that was all the same, because it was because with that they'd already re-released it once for the GameCube.
Yeah.
Which had better background graphics than the original. And all they did with this one was put in character models.
Yeah.
So the game was already there.
I'll tell you what game they did it with.
The remaster of Resi 2 is taking so long, because there's no remastered version.
Yeah, there's no preset.
They've got to remake all the background textures and then all the character
There's
models.
only one game I want to see a remaster of. Metal Gear Solid. The first one. And it pissed me off that they did Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes for GameCube, and they never thought that anyone else would want to play it. But they did actually change that remaster. Apparently they changed a little bit in that game, but I really want to see that. That's the only remaster I want to see. So if you're going to do a remaster, Metal Gear Solid. Otherwise, fuck off.
Thing is, that annoyed me. When the GameCube came out, they seemed to all of a sudden decide to stop making games for everything else, because the PS2 was already out and ripping shit.
Well, I mean, the PlayStation 2 will possibly go down in history as one of the greatest games consoles of all time, due to the fact that its back catalogue of games was so vast. I mean, you could buy a Mary-Kate and fucking Ashley game and go shopping in a supermarket, or you could fucking go and buy an army. You could buy toy soldiers Do you remember that? Army Men or something like that, and you run around as toy fucking soldiers. There was so many different games for the PlayStation 2.
The second the game...
The 1440 to...
Singapore
will be landing in 5 minutes.
Fucking hell. Yeah, but the PlayStation 2, you know, had its back catalogue, and then the GameCube came out, and every games developer wet themselves over it.
I kind of see why, because the GameCube for me was an upgraded PlayStation 2. It had a better graphics chip in it, a better processor, which meant that they could take games that were originally PlayStation 1, rehash them for Nintendo, and stick them on the GameCube with better graphics. And then something happened, and GameCube just died.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because everyone says, oh, the GameCube was a shit console. Have you actually ever played on a GameCube? I fucking loved mine. They were brilliant games consoles.
I mean, didn't the... you can probably pin it on the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Possibly.
That came out, and all of a sudden...
Well, I mean, with the Xbox...
Your frat boys appeared out the woodwork going, I'm a gamer, I'll play Halo. Like,
well, the thing is with the Xbox took what the PlayStation did, and then they added the ability that if you was playing games, say like Need for Speed, or any game for instance, you could press the menu button to go into your Xbox menu while the game's running, and then play your own music.
Yeah.
You could adapt things slightly. So if you are playing a racing game, and we've all played Need for Speeds, and let's be honest, most of us don't like the soundtracks because the music is so fucking varied.
There's one or two good songs
in it. But other than that,
for whatever genre of music, there's one or two good rap songs in it, there's one or two good rock songs in it, there's a couple of...
Same with GTA.
Yeah, there's one or two from every sort of genre.
But then you just think to yourself, well actually, I don't want to listen to the rest of the music. And then you find yourself going, if they had the option, going into the sound settings, go to the playlist and turn off every song bar like 3.
Yeah.
And then you get bored of it. But the Xbox then decided, well actually, why don't we allow people to be able to play their own music?
Yeah, so and then you could bring up your music playlist.
And the only reason I think the Xbox took over slightly was because the Xbox was built by Microsoft, who basically built computers. So they basically made a gaming PC.
Yeah.
But it was a console. So if you want to play Final Fantasy XII, go ahead. But for me, I'm sick of... I'm not a big fan of the Final Fantasy games anyway. No. But I wouldn't then go and spend another 30-40 quid on a rehash. I just don't see the point.
No.
Okay, so the next game is a bit of a piss take for me. It's Fable Fortune. Now when I read that, I was like, oh, Fable. Another Fable.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love the Fable series. Obviously, you can't get the latest Fable RPG anymore because the company went down and they took all of the license keys with them. So there's no way to create new ones, which is a shame. But now they've created Fable Fortune. Now, Fable Fortune, if you've never even heard of it, like I hadn't until today, is a game from Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter campaign game, which is how video games seem to be being made at the moment. And it's a free-to-play collectible card game. Okay.
Right.
Now these games are coming out more and more and more and more now, and you tend to see them more on your mobile.
Yeah.
Now I've looked at the gameplay trailer for this, and I'm not being funny. It would be on mobile to me.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be coming out on Xbox and PC. This should be coming out for the Android mobiles and the Apple phones, because this, when you look at it, it's no different to realistically.
Is it like the Injustice mobile games?
No, because it's not. Like literally, this is you're going to collect cards, and then you get basically it's a board game. So you get your cards, and then your characters will all appear on this board, and then they'll all take a turn and attack.
So it's a bit more like
Final Fantasy.
Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's like playing Final Fantasy with cards.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a piss take for me because I'm not being funny, but Fable, the original RPG games, were fantastic. And it really upset me that obviously Fable 3 you can't get unless you're going to buy the DVD version, and even then it's difficult to get. You can't then get the DLCs for it because there's no way getting it anymore.
Yeah.
This for me is sort of like a.
I mean, you can still get the trilogy on the.
Yeah. That's
the 360.
That's pretty much the only way to get it.
Yeah.
To buy the trilogy, or you can. But I think America are still selling the Fable 3.
Right.
But
if you want to play the originals, you have to get yourself an Xbox 360 and buy it on the store.
Also, if you do play PC and you want to play the original Fable games and you like to use a controller like me, you won't be able to because they didn't have controller support for them. But that's neither here nor there. So, Fable Legends for me. If you like collectible card games and you want to play a game like that, then this one could be for you. But for me, it's not, just because of the fact that for me, Fable should always be an RPG series, not a collectible card game.
Yeah.
And the graphics from the gameplay trailer look awful. I'm not saying that it's because, obviously, you know, it's a Kickstarter program, because some of the Kickstarter games that are out there are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But for me, this one, it's sort of like, well, when Lionhead Studios closed, that was kind of the end of Fable, so leave it as the end of Fable. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to create shitty rip-offs that are going to be shit.
Yeah.
Basically. And then the big game that I want to talk about, which I never even heard of until I started looking at gameplay trailers today, which is Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. Now, this game is an RPG open world game, okay? And if you've ever played on the Nintendo Wii, the characters, basically, they've ripped the Mii characters, you know, the little character you could create that's Mii on the Wii. They've basically ripped those characters and stuck them in an open world game. Now, the graphics on this remind me of, like, the old noughties RPG games,
yeah,
which I love. I love that retro feel, but it's like HD retro, which is nice. The gameplay is still open world RPG, but they've sort of chucked in bits of like Ark Minecraft, where you can go round, you're chopping trees down to get wood, you're chopping down rocks to get rock, and you're running around all over the place, and then you obviously completing quests like rebuilding a farm, catching fish, all these wonderful and weird little things. Now the only criticism I have for it is there's no voice acting.
Yeah. It's
all just on the screen words, which means that if you do have, I think the game's like rated quite young as well. I'll double check that now. But if you are a younger person, there's going to potentially be, you know, words in this game that you're potentially not going to understand, and that for me is going to sort of hold the game back a little bit. But for the, you know, for the older lot of us that, you know, like open RPG games that you can run around, you can pretty much do what you want, because to me there doesn't seem to be much of a story from what the gameplay I've seen. It doesn't seem to be like a majorly story-driven game. It's a bit like Skyrim. Skyrim has those stories, those background stories, but there isn't sort of a do this, do that, do the other. It's a sort of, all right, you can have 40 quests open at once and you can run around, and here comes the 1557 through to Japan. So I really want to sort of play this. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm not gonna buy it on release. No, because I'm not got that kind of money anyway. But I think when it starts to come down, if Steam have it on a sale or whatever.
I mean, it seems to be only about 20 quid anyway, so that's not a bad price.
No, that's not a bad price. You know, I mean, I like the fact that they are saying it's a beautiful, vibrant island, and from all the graphics I've seen, it is very sort of bright and it's colourful to look at, and it looks really nice to sort of, you know, to look. You can pre-order already. You know, I mean, there's some really lovely images that they've got on the actual yonderchronicles.com website. And you can actually see what I'm on about with the graphics in this. It's very retro looking, but HD, and it's sort of, you know, it's there. And I was saying there's a game, I still can't remember what it's called. I've been thinking ever since I said it to you. There's a game released, it was like late 90s, early 90s, that sort of thing. And it reminds me a lot of that, but with better graphics and potentially, you know, a better gameplay setup altogether. But I kind of want to play this. I like my open worlds. Yeah, yeah. You know, I've always been an open world RPG player, because I don't mind the sort of, you know, the narrative storytelling of some games where it's very much like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, chapter 1, whatever. But I do like the open world games where you can basically make of it what you want to make of it.
Oh yeah, see, that's going back. That's why Fable, the originals, did so well.
It's why Fable does well. It's why Skyrim did well. It's why World of Warcraft did well. It's why, you know, all of these open world RPG games, even things such as Assassin's Creed, is an open world RPG.
Speaking of which, did you see the
gameplay trailer for the new? Yes, I did indeed. And I've also seen the latest Egyptian-looking Assassin's Creed logo, and I'm like almost jizzing in my pants. I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. But the Assassin's Creed, if you know me, you'll know that I have a hidden blade tattooed to my arm.
Yeah, he does.
So Assassin's Creed for me, up there with like the best games on the planet. And you've been scrolling around on this website page for something. No, you don't want to be looking at the fact that I need to update my Live 6 update.
Now I was just looking through the page.
So it's set to be on PC and Steam for July 18th. As I say, from what I've seen, you sort of wash up on this island and then you basically just sort of, you know, farming, crafting, cooking, fishing, brewing. Relationships can be built with locals who offer everything from resources to a new farm as rewards. So, yeah,
See, to that, it kind of reminds me of the... Oh, what's that? Oh, God. It was... I can't remember. It's... There's a game where you enter a town and you are permanently trying to get money for new things. And I can't remember the damn name of it.
See, what I like in this as well is that I'm just going to read this little paragraph out. Yonder is set on the massive island of Jumea, a lush frontier with 8 distinct environments ranging from sunny tropical beaches to frigid snow-capped summits. That's the sort of game I like.
Yeah.
Because then you're not just running around a beach all the time and like, oh, this is all nice and lovely. No, you're going to be playing this game and thinking, shit, am I going to be able to make it up this snowy mountain and then get back down to go and sunbathe? You know, I like that. And trust me, I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't have even heard of this game. And like I said, I didn't until I started looking at game releases. And then I've looked at a lot of gameplay trailers on YouTube, which there are a few, because obviously, you know, some of the game streamers out there get access to these games a lot earlier than everybody else.
Yeah.
And for me, it looks really, really interesting to play. So do go and have a look at it on YouTube. There will be links in the description, I'm sure.
Yes.
Or, you know, it is Yonder, the Cloud Chronicles. So, you know, it's going to be an easy one for you to search anyway, because I'm pretty sure there's never been a game called Yonder.
I'm pretty sure as well.
But yeah, so that one looks to me like it's going to be a really interesting game. If you like your open world RPGs and you want to sort of play a game that, to me, it didn't look very taxing.
No.
So if you want to sort of have a game where you can just turn it on, blast the 3 or 4 hour gameplay out of it, but don't feel like you're stressed and,
yeah,
you know, this one could be for you. I really do believe it should be. So yeah, Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles, and try saying that when you're drunk.
Right, before we go on to the news, I'm going to make something clear. The reason we are not covering E3 is because, number one, I didn't watch any of it.
Neither did I.
No. Number two, everyone and their dog who does game reviews will have covered E3.
Yeah.
You have heard every opinion on every game and everything released about E3. Number three, we are obviously, by the time this comes out, a couple of weeks after E3. Now, for that, if you really, really wanted us to do E3, it's not going to happen because we'd spend another hour recording
just
that. Yeah. But with a bit of luck, on December the 7th, the Game Awards are here, and he's got to go and beg his missus because their birthday's on the same day.
But we will be hopefully bringing you live coverage of those awards, giving you our opinions on those as well.
As they're called.
And also we've got EGX coming up as well.
We've got EGX coming up.
EGX is a gaming convention, so we'll be bringing you news from there as well. We'll probably do an EGX
mini,
like an EGX special, and just sort of give you some news about what's coming from there as well. So that's gaming and videos. So now we're going to move on to our favourite section, which is the Metro.
Yeah.
And I've only chosen 5 today. But as you know, anyone who's listened to this, I might find a 6th. So the first,
8th, 9th.
So the first one is runaway pigs cause chaos after escaping the truck that's taken them to a slaughterhouse. Go on, piggies, run!
I love how one is.
It's basically mounting the other, and they're just stood there watching like piggy porn. But yeah, I mean, they held up traffic for 5 hours. I mean, 5 hours, really? But I just think it's hilarious that these pigs have obviously managed to somehow break out of a lorry and they've held up traffic for 5 hours.
The Roadhogs made their bid for freedom after their truck crashed into another vehicle on the side of the highway in somewhere in West Japan.
Akita, Western Japan.
Out of the 37 animals on the truck, 19 tried to save their bacon.
For me, there is a video on this as well, so please watch it. It is quite funny. Yeah, so this to me is just one of these comedy news stories I wanted to bring up just because the Japanese media reported none of the pigs were harmed in either the crash or the capture process, but when they got to the slaughterhouse, the throats were cut and hung up. Did they really need to add that? The Japanese media, they were not harmed in that, no, but they were certainly killed for bacon later on. if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, I'm pretty sure you will find this video absolutely fucking hilarious. If you're a meat eater, I'm pretty sure you're going to find it hilarious as well. But I think more so, I think the vegans will definitely be on the pig side here.
I'm on the pig side.
I mean, they had police officers, for God's sake, trying to get these pigs. I mean, for me, that's a waste of police hours. Just let the pigs run off, man. Just forget them. They're wild now. Go. Run, piggy. But, yeah, we're starting off with that. I mean, obviously, as you know, anyone who's listened
There's
to this
the
before...
1600 to Belgium.
Yeah. Anyone who's listened to this podcast before and wondering, oh, I wonder if they're going to cover politics. We don't.
No.
So, don't expect to hear that. Right, the next one.
I'm not touching that minefield.
So, the next one. This guy got police to help him break into a flat by pretending he was locked out of it. Yeah, that's what I thought when I read it. I thought, well done you, those thick fucking coppers. So this guy, this man was drunk and he got police to help him break into a flat that he pretended he was locked out of. 29-year-old said he was staying at the flat with a friend and asked them to break in. But basically he wasn't supposed to be there and these police didn't do their job properly. They broke the door in and the guy got him in. Which I think is hilarious. But I just don't understand it because even when you ring a locksmith to tell your locksmith you've been locked out, you have to prove you live at the address they're coming round to. So why the hell didn't the police do that? I mean, yeah, anyway, I could go by this.
The prosecutor said the defendant and the police officers forced their way. South Wales police deny the officer helped him forced entry, and he was arrested soon after with the passport and cash after he left the house.
Cardiff Crown Court, it was the second break-in he carried out in 24 hours. So you've got to hand it to this guy. He's got balls. Especially then to ring the police and ask the police to help him get into the flat. Now, obviously, South Wales police are always going to deny that they helped him due to the fact that it's one of the biggest publicity mistakes they could ever make. But I'm pretty sure that they did. When repeatedly quizzed by the officer about who lived there, Jason Burns always gave conflicting answers. So why did they help him break in? It's just pathetic. Just basically, just be careful what you're doing, Mr. Copper, in future.
Yeah.
Do your job, check, everything properly. But once again, another comedy type, story that I had to do, just because for me it's just hilarious that this drunk guy, managed to get the police to help him break into a house. Okay, carrying on. Like I said, these news stories are quite short today. There wasn't really a lot in the Metro other than politics because that's all that they're fucking talking about. So I'm pretty sure if you've not been blind for the last couple of weeks, this is the 13th of June that we're recording this, by the way. Basically, this has been circulating a while now. A man and his woman had sex on a Ryanair flight, which doesn't sound too bad because most people, if they're going to do it, they go into the bathroom. No, they weren't good enough for these two. No, these did it in the fucking aisles, mate. They sat in the seat.
Worse, this wasn't the man's missus.
No, it's a stranger.
His pregnant fiance was at home.
Yeah. And even better, which you don't know unless you read the story, is behind the couple is a woman who is trapped. She's trapped behind a couple fucking on a plane. I mean, even this guy here is laughing. He's like, really? And then he's got his phone out, and then obviously this guy here who's got his phone out is taking a picture. But you've got to have some balls, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Never mind the pun, but still, you've got to have some balls. I mean, most people worry about trying to get into the toilet together, let alone just think, fuck it, mate, just jump on it.
You go to the toilet,
I'll come 5 minutes. You just sit in there for 5 minutes, and I'll knock on the door. It's me.
It's the window cleaner, eh? Fucking window cleaner at 50. You imagine that window cleaner at 50,000. Just turn your windows. That'll be $5.99.
He was on a stag do, you see, which doesn't make things any better.
Oh, good Lord.
The footage shows the man in the middle seat with a woman on top of him before he asks people around him for a condom. He's known as a ladies' man, apparently, but to me, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just a random woman. I mean, you've got to give it to him. He's got to have something about him to be able to convince a random woman to basically pull her knickers down and jump on his dick.
She's got nothing between her ears.
Well, obviously. Anyone got a jelly, meaning a condom? I mean, just what? I don't get. I mean, it's bizarre.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look, she even looks at the camera with a smile on her face. With a smile on her face, it's blurred out, but that's a smile on her face. He's smiling. The Chinese, Japanese guy there, he's smiling. I mean, what more to the point? Where's the stewardess at this point? Going, excuse me, sir, take thine dick out of her, please. I mean, more to the point, there doesn't seem to be, as yet, any sort of repercussion on this.
No.
Been no police action for indecent exposure.
The cabin crew did fuck all.
As we know.
And a spokesman has said, we're looking into this matter, we won't tolerate it on our flights.
And they may be liable for further sanctions, so basically banned off Ryanair flights, but I'm not being funny. There's other flights.
I'm not being funny, but now that this is the news, I'm more worried about what's happening with his pregnant fiancée.
I'm pretty sure he's been kicked out, to be fair.
Kicked out? I think his bollocks are still pinned to the fucking door frame.
So, basically, if you're going to go on a Ryanair flight, prepare to see some porn.
Apparently, on flight, in
I
flight.
just don't understand. I mean,
and that's it. They're all on about cheap flights Ryanair. You don't get a movie. You get a fucking show.
I just don't understand why the cabin crew wouldn't have done anything. If I was a part of that cabin crew, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Mate, I get it. She looks nice, but
please
put it away.
I mean, there's probably kids on this flight, for God's sake.
I know.
I don't get it. I really don't.
Next week on Ryanair, can you just imagine the cabin crew? Ladies and gentlemen, if you will all turn to the left, you will currently see in row J, seat 23, the couple having sex. If you direct your eyes towards the right-hand side of the plane in seat 15, you will see our rendition of the pantomime Peter Pan.
So, the 21-year-old who had been flying to Ibiza to work as a barman over the summer added that a female passenger who was trapped next to the couple asked to be moved, but the crew did nothing. So, she's saying, can you please move me? And the crew still did nothing to stop them fucking. It's like, really? Really? I mean, to be fair, this isn't the first one either. There was another one of these type stories where a couple have been shagging in public. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand why you'd want to do it. Not the having sex with someone. That's quite obvious why you'd want to do it. But more to the point, why you would do it in the middle of a gangway or in your seat on a Ryanair flight. Surely there's more romantic settings.
Oh, so when did you Daddy, when did you meet Mummy? Well, you see, kids, Mummy? I was flying back from Ibiza.
Yeah, exactly. Mummy, who was my daddy? He was just a fucking stranger on a plane, love.
I was on my way back from Ibiza. He was a barman, and we were on Ryanair, and the moon caught the
mood.
plastic.
The mood was just right as the turbulence rocked us all night. I don't get why you would do it. I don't understand why the crew didn't do anything. More to the point, did the crew go to the captain at any point? Surely the captain would have said, ladies and gentlemen, as you look over to your left, you may see a couple fucking. If you look to your right, you won't. Please look right. It's just bizarre. It's a bizarre thing to have happened.
The thing is, if you were the pilot in that scenario, I don't know about you, but what I'd have done is gone straight down to the fucking ground just to see what the fuck had happened to him.
It doesn't make sense. I still don't understand why the crew did nothing. Please, I mean, if you are a part of that Ryanair flight and you were a part of that crew and you are miraculously listening to this podcast, what happened? What were you doing? Well, I know what you were doing. Fucking Tommy, flight attendant, you were in the back fucking wanking off, mate. Ooh!
He with the egg went around the curtain. Fucking come on. Doris, fuck off!
So yeah, if you're going on a Ryanair flight, I love that. If you go on the metro, you'll always see that somewhere in the post, on the story, you'll always see, not on your right hand side, which is like you're trending, on the left hand side, somewhere in it, you'll always see like an advert which relates.
Related post, yeah.
Ryanair launches flash sale with flights as cheap as $3.99. That's cheaper than some porn sites.
I know. Fucking. Don't bother signing up to your Pornhubs or whatever. I know you can get free video, but they've got premium on it, haven't they? Don't bother signing up to anything.
You can see a live porno on Ryanair for $3.99.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. If his pregnant fiancée
is still with
him, more for you.
To this.
You know, more for you. But it is your decision. I'm not going to lie. But I just don't understand why you would want to do this to you. No, I don't get it. Anyway, let's move on because this story is sort of hurting my eyes.
16:10 to Portugal.
Funny enough, there is a 19-second video. So if you want to get your kicks later on Metro, you can. So the next one. This one, we're going to get into a little bit more serious news now.
Yeah.
This one, when I read it, absolutely disgusted me. This one's actually from yesterday, but neither here nor there. A disabled athlete was forced to sleep on the train floor because no one would swap bunks. So she got a flight in a wheelchair, as you can see in the picture.
You mean a train, not a flight?
Whatever. She'd got on this train, she'd booked a cabin. Cabin has bunk beds, as they do in a lot of these type places. And they gave her a top bunk. And no one would swap with her to put her on the lower bunk, so she ended up having to sleep on the floor. It's absolutely disgusting. She'd been taking part in the Para-Asian Games of 2014. Which is funny that it's taken 3 years for this story to come out, but even then, she'd been allocated an upper berth on the sleeper train from Nagpur city in India to the capital of Delhi. She couldn't get in there because she's a wheelchair user, and obviously they're only accessible by thin little piddly ladders.
Yeah, the kind of things that even we can't get up. You sort of have to hoist yourself up using the fucking bed anyway.
But she was on a 12-hour trip. A 12-hour trip, and she had to sleep on the floor because people were so ignorant and arrogant that they was like, no, I'm not swapping bunks, this is my bunk. And it absolutely disgusts me, because I think to myself, is that what the world is now? That we see a disabled person who's been allocated something which we all know is not right for them, but we're not going to do anything to make it better for them.
It's wrong, isn't it?
If that was me, I'd have said, excuse me, love, you can have my bunk, do you need any help?
Yeah.
Straight away. You know, you wouldn't, no, I don't understand why you wouldn't, you know, I mean, if you've ever been in a situation like this, I mean, what did you do?
Well, that's the thing. If that were you, right, if you were that woman, and then he was in that bunk that you could have quite happily slept on, right, and then, you know, a year later you saw that bloke in a wheelchair and he was new and trying to get up some stairs or a ramp or something and couldn't do it, and you were like, I could show him how to do this. You'd fucking wheel yourself the other way, wouldn't you? You'd be off.
You see, I don't think I would. I think I'd still help. To show that there is.
I would.
Yeah, well, that's you. But I'd like to think that I would take the moral high ground on that one and go, well, you didn't help me, but I'll help you, and this is how the world's supposed to be. It's really disgusting that this had to happen.
I'd wheel him behind him, put his brakes on.
I'm not being funny, but
off.
If you've been on a train, you know that the floors aren't exactly sanitary. And this poor athlete who, you know, represented her country, was forced.
It's wrong.
It's completely wrong, and it really upsets me, because it just shows that in a lot of places now there is no humanity left.
No, there isn't. No.
Okay, and this one really just, I mean...
this one I saw, yes. I could have killed him.
Although, right, okay, so baby girl dies after parents choose faith healing instead of medicinal treatment, okay? Right. Now, they're now up for murder. Okay. I don't agree with that they're up for murder. And the reason being is, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you can't take a blood transfusion.
Yeah.
And they don't, if your child needs a blood transfusion and the parents says, well, Jehovah's Witnesses against our religion, and they don't have it done, the parents wouldn't get done for murder. And it's kind of like, well, isn't this sort of going against the same thing of the religious boundary, where religion is what they believe in, and they believe that religion will help all, heal all, whatever else. But it's still there.
Was this in America?
Yes.
No, that's not true anymore. Since Trump got in, they've changed it now.
Have
even
they?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
It was in Oregon.
Yeah. Even Jehovah's Witnesses aren't immune to that for their kids. They can refuse it, but you have to be 21 or over.
Right, okay.
Which, you know what? I agree with. It's not you. Who the fuck are you to say your baby can die?
But, I mean, they're basically being done... They're going to be done for murder. Okay? That's the way it's going to be.
That year, Oregon lawmakers... Yeah, the year they did it was the year Oregon lawmakers removed faith healing as a legal defence.
In murder and manslaughter cases. So they were going to get done for murder, but they actually got convicted of manslaughter in the end.
Yeah.
No, that was a different case, sorry. No, this is about Sarah and Travis, and there was another case. There was another case. There's another case where when the law changed, Shannon and Dale Hickman, they were convicted of manslaughter in 2011.
They seem to be the ones who
they were the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I agree that you should be punished if you endanger your child's life, and obviously that is endangering your child's life. But I wouldn't take that straight to murder, because manslaughter maybe, but murder for me, murder 1 and murder 2 is actually physically killing them. Manslaughter is you had an involvement in their death, but it wasn't directly your fault, if you like.
See, to me, I would also say the doctors need, because from what I can see is they took them to the hospital and then refused the treatment.
Yeah, which to me why would you take them to
should have gone to the police straight away and gone, oi, something ain't cricket here.
I mean, obviously, it's all to do with the church, as it would do, and it's Pentecostalism that it's basically rooted in Oregon. That's their sort of church followers. You've got your Catholics and whatever else. But the church originally in Oregon drew criticism in 1998 after the newspaper analysed the deaths of 78 children that were buried in the graveyard within the space of like 40 years.
And there's the 1610 back from
and they reckon that at least 21 of those could have been saved if medical intervention had taken place. Now, the problem is that this planet still revolves around religion.
Yeah.
More than it revolves around anything else. So that is slowly starting to change. But this is the problem. This is where religion and law smack heads.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the law should win. I agree.
Yeah.
But obviously, religion is one of those things that everyone has always used as a defence.
The thing is, I don't care. You are entitled to your faith and beliefs. And that's fine. But that child had done nothing wrong and you were the cause of its death. That's wrong. You affected somebody else with your religion.
I mean, you hear about these cases quite a lot, like I said, Jehovah's Witnesses being one of them, where they won't take another person's blood into their system for a blood transfusion. They could be literally bleeding out, and the only way they'll survive is a blood transfusion, and they will deny it. Which is everyone's right. Now, I do agree with you that, you shouldn't be making those sorts of decisions on your children. You should allow your children to make those sort of decisions almost themselves, if you like, with enough advice and care, if you like. But it's just one of those things that it's like, well, they always say that a parent is the one that makes the decision for the child. It happens that way with marriage because parents can turn around and say, yes, my child at 15 can get married.
I thought it was 16.
It might be 16. Obviously, contractually, parents have to get involved if a child is under the age of 18 and things like that, and it is up to the parents in that decision. So could you sort of argue in a way that you're sort of taking away a parent's responsibilities and rights by saying that if a child needs medical assistance, they should get it regardless of what the parents say yes or no? Then you're sort of stripping out that sort of parental right of deciding how...
I think in terms of life or death, it does fall on a thing of, no, they have the right to live.
Yes. It's for me, it's always going to be one of those sorts of tetchy areas that's going to cause a lot of uproar, a lot of argument.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that religion should be forced away from law and order.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it is causing a lot of issues like this, where parents are, completely, into their religion and they will, live and die by, what it says in their religious book or whatever. But it's one of those things where it's sort of a parental right to sort of choose what happens with their child, but at the same time, like you're saying, it's life or death. Should that right be given if it is going to potentially lead to the death of that child?
Yeah.
It's because it's sort of child endangerment in a way. It's really strange. I'd love to hear any of your views on this, definitely, because this was me using this as like the last news story to put up as an open for debate type system. So please, comment, let me know what you think. I mean, we've got all of these things at the minute, especially with kids. There seems to be a lot of children dying at the minute. Yeah. Toddlers being left in cars and dying in hot cars. I mean, it's just awful.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely awful sort of things that are going on. And it is kids that are feeling the brunt of this. And I really hope that we can sort this shit out.
Yeah. Oh, no. Way. Definitely, I agree. I mean, in regards to the toddlers dying in cars, it's like, Okay, what realistically are you going to do? Like, okay, so with that toddler dying in hot cars, don't leave your toddlers... Yeah, I've seen that. If you're going to be more than a minute 30 seconds,
take your kid with you.
If you're say you've just
even that. If you should never leave your children in a car.
You say never,
and the only reason I say never, okay, is because that recently a man in Britain was arrested for leaving his daughter in a car for 2 minutes 20 seconds while he ran into the chemist to get her Calpol.
No, see, then I would take them with me. When I say the only time is, say you've just been out, right, you've got your shopping, you leave, if you want, say you've got a garage next to your house, and you normally park in front of it, right? Grab the pushchair out the car, drop that inside, then run back.
Right, yeah.
Because that is, 100% that trip is going to take you 30 seconds.
Right.
But if you're in that chemist, it could have been 5 minutes. There could have been a queue.
Yes, but in the same time, she wasn't left in a hot car. There were windows open. The aircon was on. She was definitely in a happier sort of state. Oh yeah. And the guy got arrested for it, and all he was trying to do was, instead of spending the extra 2 minutes to get his daughter out of the car to get into the chemist, he went straight to the chemist, got the Calpol, bought it, and by the time he got out,
in terms of legally, yeah, don't do it. But if you're just dropping the pushchair in and going straight back,
it's one of those. It's again one of those things that it's going to cause arguments. Same with leaving animals in cars, etc., etc. For me, you shouldn't do it. Okay, I mean, obviously there is times when that's not necessarily going to be, like you're saying, dropping something off into the house while you run back and get the kid. Petrol stations are another. The amount of people that leave the kids in the car while they run into the petrol station and pay. Once again, that could be a 4 minute trip.
Yeah, it could.
There's a lot of things that...
No, I never thought of that one, you know. That is a big grey area.
Yeah, you see. There's so many grey areas when you come to this sort of thing that realistically, it's always going to be an argument. Yeah. Always. The
law itself says, never leave them unattended in the car. But see, with that car one, it gets me... Right, you've done your weekly shopping, yeah? Okay. So say you've got a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. So you go, okay, I can't leave them in the car. First thing, you've got your boot is full of shopping. You got fucking 6 weeks shopping in there, or month, or whatever. So you go, right, you get the kid out, you get the fucking booster seat out, you carry in your shower, you get them in the house, you put them in the living room, right? Shut the living room door. Trouble is, 2-year-olds are finicky. Sometimes they can get that handle.
You see, the thing is, though...
So you're telling me they're safer in that house
than the car... strapped into a car where they can't move.
So what you're supposed to do, take them in and then put them in the booster seat and then strap them in the house.
In, out, in... Just ridiculous.
Are you supposed to carry them with you and carry one bag of shopping at a time while they're...
There's always going to be grey areas when it comes to these sorts
and whatever
of things.
Else.
It's always going to be a grey area when it comes to these sorts of things. I would like to hear people's views and opinions on it. I really would, because I'd like to see more of a connection between us and our viewers.
Yeah.
I really want you to all get involved. I want more I want you all to be telling us what you want to hear from us, because I'm not being funny. It took me like 20 minutes to find 5 news stories today, literally. And even if the news story that you post to us is a month old by the time we come to record, I will still talk about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I want to hear more from you. I want to see what video games you're into. I want to see what films you're into. So
Are you an independent film or games maker who has a game coming out?
We want
to let us know.
We want to review these
sorts
of
the game or a trailer,
and we will tell you what we think about it. We're not nasty people. We'll be honest. And if we don't like the looks of the trailer, we'll tell you that. If we love the looks of the trailer, we'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done that in this. I don't like the Final Fantasy 12 game. I've never liked the Final Fantasy series. I told you I didn't like it, but I'm not going to turn around and go, it's going to be shit. Because
I don't like Final Fantasy, but I love Kingdom Hearts.
And there you go.
Which is part of Final... it's like an offshoot of Final Fantasy, and that's weird for some people.
So, please start getting more involved, guys, and letting us know what you want to hear from us, because we'd love to hear your views, opinions, thoughts, what you want us to review, anything like that. And that's the end. We've reached the end. We've been rattling on for about an hour and a quarter now.
Yeah, you've heard the plain timetable.
So, I've been Callum, he's been Anthony, we've been The Bearded Opinion. Bye.
Bye.